And welcome back to Marvel Puzzle Quest with me, P.I. McLeod. We're here at day 4206. Okay, so today, simple enough. We're just going to go do Crash the Titans, but not just any Crash the Titans. Well, I mean, it's Double Mordo Day, don't you know? We always get more fun with Double Mordos. No, that's not really the reason. We get to use someone different. She doesn't have a Crash yet. A new person to add to the list. Why couldn't we get like 2 different enemies for it? Whatever. Alright, so Mordo, let's start off with a little description as we usually do. Trip down memory lane. Mordo came out for Marvel Puzzle Quest way back when Doctor Strange was already introduced. Not too long separate from the first Doctor Strange movie. Honestly, at the time, not a lot of people knew who he was, unless you were a big comic book fan. And beyond that, the movie had to teach us more. Because most casuals, like myself, I'll put myself there, didn't know the guy. He comes into Marvel Puzzle Quest as a 4-star. He doesn't have any passives. In fact, he's kind of dull for most points, except when you have the AP to fuel him. He's kind of got a good kit if you have the AP to fuel him, and if the enemy has the AP to get hit with. Makes sense? No, it doesn't. Let me explain. His purple is basically a punishment tool. If whatever pool of AP the enemy has the highest of, doesn't matter the color. If yellow's their highest, if red's their highest, doesn't matter the color. Whatever the highest pool is, he hits them for damage per AP in their highest colored pool. And yes, that can get pretty beefy. There is no up to a max because 30 AP is the max. So the more they're hoarding, the worse it is for them. And then, of course, at the end of that damage, then he depletes some of it for them as well. It's pretty ugly, honestly, but it is also a little pricey. It's like 9, I want to say. But it doesn't come into play that often because honestly, when people are thinking Puzzle Quest nowadays, 9 AP is kind of a late game move. Anyways, his blue is pretty damaging. You probably recognize it from the Welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D. Fights that we do. But it is, again, in that 8 to 9 range. It's a little pricey. It gets more disgusting if someone's lowering the cost, which we all know, right? And then his black is probably the most ho-hum of them all. It's just a nice, solid, well, little nuke, meh, but it makes some charge tiles on the board. And if he has enough black charge tiles on the board when he casts it, it does more damage based on that. That's really it. His black is probably the least impressive of the 3 of tools, but hey, they've gone ahead and done us the favor of increasing that to 5, blue to 5, and the worst one down to 3. So count our lucky stars, I guess. We're good to go against a not so good Mordo. Is there any fear here? No, just don't let him stockpile blue and purple. I mean, the black isn't much to worry about. And thankfully for us, we get to use the blue and purple because we're using Clea. Clea came in a lot later on after Mordo, after Doctor Strange. Clea's pretty new, honestly. She's basically a Doctor Strange, but newer, nowadays newer. She comes into the game with a kind of a similar kit when it comes to her passives, and then more on top of it. I'd have to say that, honestly, I think they did a good job making her. She isn't used that much by anyone really right now, but at the same time, there's no reason not to. It's just, well, the other characters are the reason. We have a lot of other meta characters in our rosters right now, and Clea just only fits certain situations. I still wouldn't say to ignore her. Far from it. Let's start down on her yellow. Her yellow is probably the most familiar feeling ability, the Faltinian Inferno. I'll start at the passive, because that'll probably sound the most familiar as well. Whenever an enemy fires a power, deal damage to the target and give a burst of health to the team. Sound familiar? Sound very Doctor Strange-esque? That's because it is. It's pretty much the same darn thing. So yes, you can pal her up with Doctor Strange on the same team and then double smack around some goons that are trying to hit you in PvE. Easy enough, right? But also, while she's in this Faltinian form... Oh, hello. Hey, Dark. Thanks for the sub, dude. Man, I appreciate it. Dang, thanks a lot, man. But while in Faltinian form, Clea will take no match damage and her abilities deal 35% more damage. What is Faltinian form anyways? Well, we skipped the active paragraph, didn't we? Her active states for 8 yellow AP. She deals some damage when she casts it, to the target. It's less damage than the passive, mind you. And then she changes into this Faltinian form. It says, at the start of each turn, the team loses 1 red AP. Just 1. If there's 0 red AP remaining, Clea returns to normal. So, like we said, when she casts it, she goes into that form, and she takes no match damage, and her abilities will deal 35% more damage. So yes, Shang-Chi, you're not hurting her. Colossus, it was cute, but no. Honestly, she's just a brick wall at that point. She's pretty much like Emma in her diamond form. She's not going to get hit by no measly match damage at that point. So really good against match damage peoples, right? Of course, we have a lot of other powers in the game to fear, but still, they have to cast those powers, right? I mean, if they're passive, that still sucks for her. Okay, so let's move up to... We'll save purple for last. That's a little more complicated. The Manacles of Mokar. I'll pump it up to 5 so you can see the full gamut of it. For 9 blue, you select a basic tile. You create a 1-turn repeater that deals some damage per turn. It's pretty good damage compared to the yellow. Remember, it can be boosted too if she's in that Faltinian form. While this tile is on the board, the target's powers may not be activated. So, like, basically you hit them with a good old Final Fantasy silent spell. They can't do anything. They're muted. It basically just makes it so they can't do a lot of their stuff. Polaris can't stun you. You're going to have a lot of characters that literally just can't do their thing. It doesn't make them worthless, but it really does shut them up for a bit. And not to mention, if she's got that Faltinian form on and she can't take match damage, you've kind of just shut them out of a lot of their abilities. She really does just kind of pick apart the enemy one piece at a time. And they may only deal damage to Clea as well, by the way, at that point. So like if she got the manacles on someone, that person isn't hurting your other people. So if you do have a squishy Polaris on your team or Rocket or whatever, yeah, they're not going to get hurt because you got the manacles on that person. At least not by that person. Anyways, you get the point. Finally, there's Creative Caster. Creative Caster does require you to get the thinking juices going. You can't just go through the game with Clea and go tap, 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 I win. No. For her to really use her kit fully, you kind of have to think about what you're doing, especially about her purple. If you're not that sort of player, I highly suggest increasing your manacles to level 5 and reducing your Creative Caster down to 3. I, on the other hand, like to play with Creative Caster a lot more. Can you imagine her on a team with a tank and then she throws out her blue and yellow? Blue won't allow the enemy to hurt anyone but her, and then yellow won't allow her to get hurt except for with powers. That's insane. It's true. It is super true. That was a big part with her Welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D., if I remember correctly. Creative Caster for 8 purple, you select a 3x3 block of tiles. She destroys the selected tiles and creates a new spell on the spot, meaning like immediately, not like on that spot, okay? To harness her energy in different ways, applying different effects based on selected colors. In other words, the colors you select in that 3x3 blocks actually fuel what's going to happen next. There's a few pages of text, but let me just break it down for you. Each one of these walls of text basically states if there's 3 or more of a certain color, you're going to get a certain effect. Well, let's start with blue. It's right there. 3 or more blue, stun the target for 4 turns. If there's 4 or more blue, stun the target for 5 turns. Simple, right? 3 or more purple, well, for every 3 purple, actually, you create 5 purple trap tiles. If she would take damage, instead just remove a trap. It's kind of like a similar version to Elektra's black, the Shadow Dance, I believe it's called. Anyways, for yellow, 3 or more, she heals her teammates for a little bit of health per tile. Just for casting it with any yellow in there, you heal yourself for a little bit too. 3 or more black, you get a 4-turn black countdown tile that steals 2 AP in the enemy's strongest color with AP per turn. For reds, for each red tile in there, deal a decent amount of damage for what you're really doing here. If there's 3 or more reds in there, the damage is increased by 60%. If there's 3 or more green tiles in the area, destroyed tiles deal 300% of Clea's average match damage to the enemy team. In other words, look around your board. Do you see a good amount of blue? There's a stun waiting for you right there. Is there some purple mixed in there as well? Hey, you get some traps that are going to protect her. Or maybe you have some red mixed in with the blue. That's a stun with extra damage built in. You could really just look at the board with eight purple and just say, hey, I see a nice 3 yellow, 3 green, 3 red right there. And just, oh, that's 3 effects in one cast. It's pretty handy, but you got to keep your eyes open and look around. Oh yeah, that was Clea in a nutshell though. Well, that's a pretty big nutshell. Her blue is good at holding down the enemy, making sure your teammates stay safe. They're going to take some damage from even just being hit with the manacles. Yellow is basically firing off on someone for casting a power, even having the audacity to, and healing as well. And then purple can do a gamut of different things. We're talking stuns, AP theft, protection, healing. There's a lot it could do. I wouldn't say she's a total package because you have to be cognizant. She doesn't run herself. You have to be aware of what you have, what the board has, what the enemy is doing. She's not a just throw her in there and she fixes your problems for you. You have to actually think when you use her. So, no, she's not for everyone. But is she good? Yes. In the right hands, she's actually quite good. Ready? Clea versus Mordo. Go. All right, we want yellows, we want purples, we want blues. Purples are obviously the most fun. Oh, and as a side note, Mordo wants the blues and purples too, so we kind of got to take those over yellows. So if I, for example, did this, it depletes him of that option. He could take the black. That's quite okay with us. I would rather take the blue. I mean, the purple, I'm sorry. I do actually want the blue, but beggars can't be choosers, right? Much as I want that blue, I can just do a creative caster right now. So we want to like have them at our mercy. We could just do this right now. Creative caster, 3x3 set of blocks. There's 4 blue right there. Remember, 4 blue stuns him for 5 turns. That's mean. That's not even fair. But we're gonna do it. 5 turns of do what I want? Are you kidding me? That's really good. So let's take this yellow into blue cascade. And we'll take some more purple. We can prep for another stun fest or damage fest or whatever we want at a different time. We can get the manacles ready. He's almost out of stun, but that's okay. We've got a nice head start on him for AP once again. I guess we'll take the yellow over here. Let's take that yellow. I want to drop those blue a bit. I was hoping they would line up a little better. I don't see any blue, I don't see any purple, and I don't see any yellow, so let's ruin his day and take his black away. And he got a different black. Whatever. What's he gonna do, right? Right. The Manacles of Mokar. Sounds so much more hardcore than watching this. Choose a basic blue? We'll put it right there, in the corner, nice and safe, tucked away. That's a bit more of an animation than I remember it having. I'll give it that much. So, deals damage per turn. So he's just going to start ticking away his health. If I could have stunned him now, he just literally can't do anything but take it. Let's go with that team up. I should have just grabbed the yellow. Don't know why I didn't. I guess we'll grab the red for no reason, just to drop the blue down. Hey, you're gonna get to see his black come out soon, which is nice. Just for the animation purposes, right? Oh, Faltinian form coming up. Ooh, we're gonna light up. That's the coolest thing about her, is when you do fire off her yellow, she gets that nice fiery hairdo. Pretty sweet. And then he's going to take the blue. Can he not fire off yet? 10 for blue, 9 for purple, 10 for black. Okay, yeah, I guess he's just barely out of range. And that's why it's another reason he's not that good. His AP just, everything costs a little too much to be him. Well, let's finish him off. We'll do what? Right over here. There's like 3 red. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in there. 3 red, there's some yellow for healing. Let's do it. Look at that, a nuke with healing. A nuke with built-in healing. And in Faltinian form, it's 35% more damage on top of it. Kind of ridiculous. Well, it's almost as ridiculous as, you know, fighting him twice. But hey, it's a legendary token, so am I going to complain? No, we're just going to go in there and run this again. I'm just going to keep the same build. We could manacles up some more, but really that would just do more damage per tick, which isn't a bad deal. It's just we're already manhandling them. Manacles or not. Let's just roll. Oh wow, they're just going to give me match 5. Do you think Mordo set that up himself because he's just like, finish me now, I don't want to deal with this anymore? I think I'll let him have the black. Go for it, dude. Have fun. Because I'm getting match 5s and you're not going to turn those down. Nope. That's a lot of luck we've had here with this. Let's see how this works. We'll do this on the 3 purples, right? So if I did this right, I need 3 purples to make the traps, right? So we'll play around with this right here. I could do it right here. That does the damage too. Let's do that one. Whew! Dang. That's a lot of damage. I'll let him have the crit, honestly. Because if I match it with the yellow or something else, it'll make my traps go away. I just want to kind of let him do what he's doing right now. Let's let him play. Look at that, no damage. I took a crit to the face. Nope. She's like, nah, not today. Not today, Satan. It's not like the same as a stun, but it feels like it. It's ineffective moves on him. Ah, he got a bunch of blue there. And my traps are gone. Oh well. I don't see any blues, no yellow, so I'm taking the purple. And I guess I'll take that purple. One cast away from winning in almost anything. He doesn't have enough anything to cast himself either. I guess I'll just do this. Let him have the black. Or the blue. Fine. Go ahead, take that. I'm trying to let him cast something before he dies. He needs... It's not going to happen. I'm not going to turn on the crit. This isn't the Mordo show. He can't just get away with what he wants because I'm feeling sad for him. Oh, there he goes. Ah, with the staff. And then she's like, yeah, no. No real big animation for that, but I think that's because by that point in the game, when Puzzle Quest, when the developers made her, they realized people hated to see repeated animations over and over and over again. So they're just kind of like, everyone gets it. Damage went out. Anyways, that's it. That's Clea's Crashes of the Titans. I wish they would have given us someone to go against. I don't know. You could have given us Mordo and then Wong. I don't know. Something like that, right? Just give us another sorcerer to fight. Would have been nice. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a good one, everyone. Later.